Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If you like to welcome Balabhadra Prabhu, you need to sing some. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have information virtually on every topic. In the 7th canto, Krishna, Narada Muni talks about unity of brahmachari. As you know, the 4 ashrams, what are they? He talks about unity of brahmachari. Then he talks about unity of vanaprastha. Then he talks about unity of a sannyasi. Sannyasi has very heavy responsibility. Sannyasi's business is not just eat Mahaprasad and get some dandavas. He has to be very renounced and lead a life of extreme austerity. Then he describes the duties of the Grihastha ashram. And since most of you are in the Grihastha ashram, I thought that you may want to hear what Narada Muni tells you. Who is the higher authority than Narada Muni? Is anyone higher than Narada Muni? Narada Muni is the Shakti Vaishnava. So this is the 7th canto, chapter 14, chapter called Idle Family Life. And the chapter opens with Yudhishthira Maharaj asking a question. I'll read. Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired from Narada Muni, O my Lord, O great sage, kindly explain how we who are staying at home without knowledge of the goal of life may also easily attain liberation according to the instructions of the Vedas. Will you repeat after me? Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired from Narada Muni, O my Lord, O great sage, kindly explain how we who are staying at home Without knowledge of the goal of life, we also easily attain liberation according to the instructions of the Vedas. So, one thing is clear. Yudhishthira Maharaj, another name for Yudhishthira, sorry, another name for Yudhishthira is Dharma. Yudhishthira has complete knowledge regarding the duties of a Grihastha. Yudhishthira Maharaj is showing us how we behave when we meet a saintly person. When we meet a saintly person like Narada Muni, we inquire, we seek guidance. Just like Prithu Maharaj, when he went to Kumara, he also inquired from that. So Narada Muni is being questioned by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj wants to know, how should one in a Grihastha ashram attain perfection based on the Vedas? And this is the purport by Prabhupada. I request Gopal to read it. Read the purport.
Purport. In the previous chapters, the great sage Narada has explained how a brahmachari, a vanaprastha and sannyasi should act. He first explained the dealings of a brahmachari, vanaprastha and sannyasi, because these three ashrams or statuses of life are extremely important for fulfillment of the goal of life. One should note that in the brahmachari ashram, vanaprastha ashram and sannyasa ashram, there is no scope for sex life, whereas sex is allowed in grihastha life under regulations. Narad Muni therefore first described brahmachari, vanaprastha and sannyasa because he wanted to stress that sex is not at all necessary, although one who absolutely requires it is allowed to enter grihastha life or household life, which is also regulated by the Shastras and Guru. Yudhishthira Maharaj could understand all this. Therefore, as a grihastha, he presented himself as Griha Mudadhi, one who is completely ignorant of the goal of life. A person who remains a householder in family life is certainly ignorant of life's goal. He is not very much advanced in intelligence. As soon as possible, one should give up his so-called comfortable life at home and prepare to undergo austerity or tapasya, tapo divyam putraka. According to the instructions given by Rishabdev to his sons, we should not create a so-called comfortable situation, but must prepare to undergo austerity. This is how a human being should actually live to fulfill life's ultimate goal.
Actually, we're going to discuss two verses. So after having described the duties of brahmachari, vanaprastha and sannyas, now the Buddha is explaining the duties of a grihastha. The chapter is called Ideal Family Life. So Yudhishthira wants to know, how can one lead an ideal family life? I think all of you want to know that, isn't it? And Yudhishthira wants to know, how can you lead it based on the Vedic teachings? He wants to know what is the scriptural revelation about family life. What do the scriptures say? That's the path of perfection. The path of perfection is to follow the Vedic path. So you just want to know what is the Vedic path. You want to hear Narada Muni's reply? Narada Muni replied, My dear king, those who stay at home as householders must act to earn their livelihood, and instead of trying to enjoy the results of their work themselves, they should offer these results to Krishna Vasudeva. How to satisfy Vasudeva in this life can be perfectly understood through the association of great devotees of the Lord. Want you to repeat after me? Nanda Muni replied, My dear king, those who stay at home, as householders, must act to earn their livelihood, and instead of trying to enjoy the results of their work themselves, they should offer these results to Krishna Vasudeva. How to satisfy Vasudeva in this life can be perfectly understood through the association of great devotees of the Lord. And now the purport by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
The format for Grahastha life should be dedication to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 6.1 it is said, Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnya na chakriya. One who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life. He is a true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no work. Whether one acts as a brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha or sannyasi, he must act only for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. This should be the principle for everyone's life. Narad Muni has already described the principles of life for a brahmachari, vanaprastha and sannyasi, and now he is describing how a grahastha should live. The basic principle is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The science of satisfying the Supreme Lord can be learned as described here. Sakshat Upasita Mahamuni. The word Mahamuni refers to great saintly persons or devotees. Saintly persons are generally known as munis, or thoughtful persons concerned with transcendental subject matters. And Mahamuni refers to those who have not only thoroughly studied the goal of life, but who are actually engaged in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. These persons are known as devotees. Unless one associates with devotees, one cannot learn the science of Vasudeva Arpanam, or dedicating one's life to Vasudeva Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In India, the principles of this science were followed strictly. Even 50 years ago, I saw that in the villages of Bengal and the suburbs of Calcutta, people engaged in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam daily when all other activities ended, or at least in the evening before going to bed. Everyone would hear the Bhagavatam. Bhagavata classes were held in every village, and thus people had the advantage of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes everything about the aim of life, liberation or salvation. This will be clearly explained in the next verses.
Hare Krishna. So, it takes one. We heard delicious questions. The Bhagavatam has questions and answers. I think when you are preparing for your examination in your college days, you would buy books, question and answer. Possible questions that may come in the exam and answers. So our Vedas are also question and answers, just like in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is asking so many questions, so many. Somebody might think that, oh, Arjuna is asking these questions. Actually, Arjuna is asking these questions. Arjuna is asking these questions more for our benefit. Arjuna knew that we may have doubts, just like Krishna said, I imparted this knowledge to the Sangha Vivaswan, who in turn imparted it to Manu, who in turn imparted it to Ikshvaku. So Arjuna said, how am I to believe you imparted this knowledge to the sun god and he's seen it to you by birth? Just like if someone says, I spoke to your great grandfather. So say, how is it possible? So, So, Arjuna, what did Krishna say? Many times when you and I have appeared, I can remember all my previous births, but you cannot. So similarly, in the Bhagavatam also, there's so many questions. Just like Parikshit Maharaj, he was cursed to die in 7 days. So Parikshit Maharaj did not panic. He invited the great sages and he asked them a simple question. What should one do who is about to die? This is a question that we should all be asking. And then Shukadeva Goswami said, hear about Krishna. So here again, Yudhishthira is asking a question. How can we as householders attain perfection or attain liberation based on the teachings of the Vedas? What did Narada Muni reply? Narada Muni said, those who stay at home as householders must earn their livelihood. Good news, isn't it? Because sometimes people accuse us, oh, if I become a Hare Krishna, I'll have to give up my job or business. So here you have a assurance from Narada Muni. No, no one's going to ask you to do that. We are brahmacharis different. If you're a householder, naturally you're expected to have a means of livelihood. Unless, of course, the government becomes so charitable that they maintain all spiritually inclined householders. But that will probably never happen. So Narada Muni says, my dear king, those who stay at home as householders must earn their livelihood. Bhagavad Gita doesn't preach inaction. As we said earlier, people often misunderstand the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita preaches action, but for the pleasure of the Lord. As Prabhupada explains in the purport of the second verse, regardless of which ashram you belong to, our goal should be to please Krishna. A brahmachari, if he doesn't act for the pleasure of Krishna, and that is Shama Eva Kevala. Similarly, a sannyasi, if he doesn't act for the pleasure of Krishna, that is also simply a waste of time. So Narada Muni says, householders must try to earn their livelihood. But there's a difference. Did anyone notice what the difference is? Did anyone notice the difference? We just read the book, translate. What's the difference? Earn your livelihood, but understand, you're supposed to please Vasudeva. Not that I'm earning my livelihood, everything goes for my enjoyment. Narada Muni very clearly says that. He says, and instead of trying to enjoy the results of the work themselves, they should offer the results to Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. Bhoktanam Venkataposam Sarvaloka Maheshwara. So what another Muni is saying, that householders preserve their livelihood, but they should offer themselves to Vasudeva, offer themselves to the Supreme Lord. Now, how do you get this knowledge that we need to offer themselves to the Lord? How do you get this knowledge? What does Nada Muni say? By associating with saintly people. Association with saintly people is the main source of getting spiritual knowledge. Lord Chaitanya was giving Sanatana Goswami very detailed explanation on the process of devotional service. But then he summarized everything into 5 main points. What were they? Sadhu Sangha, then Nama Kirtan, Bhagavatam Shravanam, worshiping the leader with faith and reverence, and Matsava. So, spiritual association is recommended in all the scriptures. In the Bhagavatam 4th canto, we read the story of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, as he now had performed great austerities, he was initially insulted by his stepmother. He took it very seriously and he went crying to his mother. She had already heard that his son was chastised. And she said, I can't help you, but God can help you. So Dhruva Maharaj was going for the forest to look for God. When Narada Muni appeared on the scene, initially Narada Muni said, Dhruva, why are you taking the word of your stepmother so seriously? Go and play. But Dhruva said, no, I want to look for God. If you're ready to help me, I'll talk to you. If not, bye-bye. Narada Muni saw he was serious when he gave him instruction. He gave him the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he told him how to meditate on the Lord. So Dhruva was asked, Dhruva asked any benediction that you want. Nothing is impossible for the Lord. He can give any benediction. So Dhruva said, my dear Lord, if you want to give me a benediction, give me the benediction that I may always associate with advanced devotees. I may associate with advanced devotees. Because by association with advanced devotees, we get spiritual knowledge, which enables us to cross over the sands of birth and death. So we should look forward to spiritual association. Without spiritual association, it is impossible to make spiritual advancement. Yesterday we were describing to you the devotees, ISKCON's history, where, as you know, we're celebrating the golden jubilee of ISKCON's incorporation. But how did ISKCON spread? It was Sadhu Sangha. Prabhupada came from India with just 40 rupees in his pocket. But he gave people association. He started it by singing the Hare Krishna mantra. He gave people association and it changed their lives. Prabhupada establishes ISKCON temples in America, Canada, Europe. But in those days, there was the Iron Curtain. Does anyone remember what was behind the Iron Curtain? Soviet Union and the whole Eastern Bloc. Poland, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania. all Eastern Europe, which are all considered to be Soviet Union satellites. So Prabhupada was thinking how to penetrate in these countries. So in 1971, June, he went to this country, Soviet Union. He managed to get an invitation from a professor, Dr. Katowski. And he went there with two secretaries, Arvinda and Shamsundar. And he stayed in a hotel, National Hotel. So, in those days, it was very difficult to get anything vegetarian or fruits. So, Prabhupada Secretary Shamsundar was in the market looking for fruits. And he met two boys. One was an Indian and one was a Russian. And he asked them, is there any shop where I can buy fruits? The Russian boy was practicing yoga. So he said, oh, I'm practicing yoga. He said, my spiritual master is a yoga teacher. He brought him to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was there just on a 5-day visa. But in 3 days, he trained up this Russian devotee and told him how to preach. Initiated him in 3 days. Gave him the name Shanti. He told him, you go and tell people Krishna is supreme. And that's exactly what he started doing. And slowly, devotees came. And now there are thousands and thousands. So it's all a result of sadhu sangha. This sadhu sangha, we get to 2 avenues. One is by associating with the bhakta sadhu, devotee, or books, just like Prabhupada emphasized book distribution. Why? Not to make a lucrative profit, because these books contain spiritual wisdom, and by reading these books, we can influence. If you want to do a survey of devotees around the world, you will find the majority of them are influenced by the books that brought them to Krishna consciousness. So spiritual association is very, very necessary. In ISKCON we have the Sunday program, Bhakti Riksha, Namas. All these programs are designed to give us association. In the 3rd canto of the Bhagavatam, you read about the dialogue between Devahuti and Kapila. Kapila was an incarnation of Godhead. So Devahuti, his mother, questioned her son, please describe to me how I can become free from the entanglement of both and that. You are my transcendental I. And the son said, my dear mother came to the path of devotional service. And she said, but how do you get knowledge about devotional service? By spiritual association. So, we should mold our lives in such a way that it doesn't matter how busy we are, we also find time for spiritual association. If we don't find time for spiritual association, then to maintain spiritual life will be very hard. Sometimes we think, oh, they're all in Maya. And we justify avoiding association. But we don't realize that by following this path, our own spiritual life gets free. So if you are in spiritual association, then you will constantly hear the right message. So spiritual association doesn't mean anybody wearing saffron is qualified imitate, accept as knowledge. No. Sadhu must be one whose life is exemplary. Sadhu must be one who is repeating what he's heard from his spiritual master. Sometimes we see, new devotee joins the movement. He's enthusiastic to preach. He doesn't have deep realization, but nevertheless he preaches. And he goes and repeats what he has heard. And he inspires the other person to also chant. So, a sadhu must receive knowledge from the right source. And if you receive knowledge from the right source, and repeat it, then you can have it. So, a spiritual association is absolutely necessary. And if you associate spiritually, then as Nandamani says, you will be on the right track. So if you are in spiritual association, then you get the right instruction. Okay, when you work, you work. But offer the results to me. Krishna says again and again, offer the results of your activities to me. These days we see stress levels are so high. Why are stress levels high? Why is the stress level, mental disorder, suicide rate, why are they high? Who knows? Yes. Frustration. Lack of spirituality. What else? Attachment to the results. I'm attached, I'm making this endeavor. I'm attached to the results, I want to be the enjoyer. But if we understand that Krishna is the enjoyer, and we make an effort, and we do our best, and then reap the results of Krishna. Krishna, the famous verse of the Gita says, Karmani Yamani Karase Mahapareshu. Krishna says, do your duty, act, but Mahapareshu. What is it? And then Kadachana, what does that mean? But you offer the results to me. If you don't offer the results to Krishna, then what happens? Then you can become bound by the karmic reaction. Then you get bound by the results. Therefore, we should learn to act in the spirit of detachment. Bhagavad Gita gives an example. Lotus leaf is in water. What doesn't? Touch the water. You have lotus leaves in it, Georgia. No. The lotus leaf is in water, but doesn't touch the water. So if you work in the spirit, Krishna is the enjoyer, I am simply an instrument, and I will make an honest effort to please Krishna. If you work in the spirit of detachment, then there will be no frustration. There will be no frustration. But because we are excessively attached to our efforts, because we want to be the enjoyers of our efforts, therefore there is stress and all the negative consequences. So spiritual association using right knowledge. What is right knowledge? Krishna is supreme. You are not this body. You are not this body. Just like the clothes you wear cover your body. Similarly, the body covers the soul. And for the soul, there is no birth and death. Unfortunately, we don't have this knowledge. There are so many universities and colleges around the world. And someone told me, just around Boston, There are more than 100 universities now. Gopal was just in around Boston City, there are 100 universities. All over America, there may be thousands and thousands. But where do they teach? What happens after that? Prabhupada was once giving a talk in the early days of the movement at a famous American university. And he said, in this university is any department that tells you what happens after death. And there was complete silence. So, getting spiritual knowledge means, A, understanding that Krishna is supreme, God is the supreme enjoyer, and we are meant to act for His pleasure, not for our pleasure. Normally our understanding is, God should be my order supplier. Am I right? My desire should be God's desire. But Krishna says, the correct mentality is, God's desire should be my desire. My desire should be based on the Lord's desires. So, that is spiritual knowledge, understanding another's body. Then another element of spiritual knowledge is the role of time. How time destroys everything. Time is very valuable. With the rising and setting of the sun, the duration of life of everyone, but one engages his life in service of the Lord is being reduced. Do we realize the sun is setting? Do any of you ever think sun has set? One day less left in my life. So for Krishna, does anyone think like that? One day less is left now. No, most of us don't think. We just take everything for granted. Of course, as devotees we know there's danger at every step. Any step could be the last step. There's danger at every step. But by and large, people don't really think, oh, there's one day less left in my life. We just take it for granted. The life will go on as long as I want. And if death has to come, you're going to knock at the door and take my permission. So that's an important element, time. And then mature nature also works in the direction of thought. So we need spiritual associacy, spiritual knowledge. Prabhupada labored hard to produce these books. And he wanted us to study these books. If we study or read these books regularly, you will have transcendental knowledge. That will encourage you to work in the spirit of detachment. Initially when we hear about things like that, oh, now the money is saying, run your livelihood. But then now the money is saying, you will be the enjoyer of the remainder of the results. Initially you will say, well, this is Krishna consciousness is too much. Krishna wants to be the enjoyer of my result. But if you have spiritual knowledge, you understand, we have to serve someone or the other. Either you serve your senses, or you serve the Supreme Lord. If you serve the Supreme Lord, you have nothing to worry. If you serve your senses, if you want to be the Supreme Enjoyer, which you can't in any case, but if you want to be, then your spiritual endeavors will not succeed. So, now the Muni explains idle family life in the 7th canto. And I would request all of you, I've been lecturing on this, and read this idle family life. See what Nanda Muni tells you. Don't get too scared. Some of you will get scared, oh, it's too austere. But Nanda Muni just telling us what is the ideal standard, what is the highest standard. And then Krishna gives us intelligence based on our sincere desire at what level we want to operate. You have good, better, best. You can have best, better, But at least we should know what our standard is. So all of you come to spiritual life, please take it seriously. And in the association of devotees, understand the philosophy, read the books, and thereby make spiritual progress. Hare Krishna. I want to do some time for questions. That's why I kept it a little short. I thought you all may have questions. Any questions? Yes.
Guru Maharaj, you very nicely explained the reason for anxiety and frustration, like based on because of the attachment to the results.
Excessive attachment to the results.
But Guru Maharaj, like even if we perform some activity of Krishna, like we are organizing a book fair, like some kind of spiritual event,
There is anxiety.
we still have anxiety, like we want to make it.
I understand.
So how do you
There are two types of anxiety. One is spiritual anxiety, one is material anxiety. There was one devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Vasudeva Datta. He went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, "My Lord, I want to ask you a favor." No, I didn't ask you a favor. He said, "My Lord, please take all the conditioned souls back to garden and let me suffer the reaction due to them." Lord Maharaj, he had spiritual anxiety. "My Lord, how can I save these conditioned souls?" So you said, you're organizing a book fair, but you want to make sure you organize properly. Just like we're managing ISKCON society, our constant anxiety is to make sure everything is organized properly, we are preaching maximum, nothing is wasted. But that is spiritual anxiety. So if you have spiritual anxiety, then that's healthy. Mature anxiety is destructive. You see all these great sages, they have anxiety. We want to make everyone in Atlanta Krishna conscious. That's a healthy desire. But I want all the wealth of Atlanta for my enjoyment. That's mature anxiety. Okay? More questions? No questions? Yeah.
Lines of, let's say we have cooking, or if you're doing any spiritual activity, sometimes there is a little bit of success, sometimes there is more success. Of course, there are flaws in our effort, but is it okay to, or how do you balance between the attachment to success being spiritual risk?
Let's say you're organizing a preaching program. We don't say don't be attached to having positive results. Make the effort, need the rest in Krishna's time. Make an honest effort. That's the important criteria. And if you make an honest effort, like a devotee goes out into book distribution. One day he may distribute 20 books. One day he may not have such a nice book. If he made a sincere endeavor, Krishna, who is in everyone's heart, is pleased. So the important thing is we make it an honest effort, but we should make the effort. Not that we don't make the effort. Yes. More questions?
You said our duty is to praise Krishna. So how do we know what pleases Krishna, and can you explain what activities and acts that please Krishna?
When Nanda Muni says, by spiritual association, you will get knowledge how to to offer the results to Krishna. But spiritual association means associating with Guru, senior devotees, etc. And if you are in doubt, what will please Krishna now? Ask somebody senior. If you act according to Krishna's desires, then Krishna will be pleased even if your effort is not successful. If you are acting against Krishna's desires, Krishna's instructions are very clear. The Bhagavad Gita is an open book of knowledge. The Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything is spelled out in black and white. Nothing is vague. So, with the help of spiritual master and senior Vaishnava, everyone can know, am I pleasing or not pleasing? It's not a secret. One thing in Krishna consciousness, there's no secret mantras, there's no secret philosophy. Everything is in the books, black and white. Prabhupada discusses every topic openly in his books. You follow? And establishes this is the golden standard, this is the silver standard. So, take help of senior devotees. Yeah. More questions? Yes.
You mentioned in the past about Varnashram system. So I was wondering, Prabhupada said that we should have Varnashram system within the society of Krishna conscious movement. What is called is really being to establish this, the Varnashram.
First is, we believe in Deva Varnashram, as you said. Deva Varnashram means one acts according to his skills and ashram. Deva Varnashram means, doesn't matter whether you're brahmachari, gyasa, or vanaprastha sannyasa. The goal of all your activities is to please Krishna. It's not that if I'm a brahmachari or sannyasi, I can't be the enjoyer. We have to act with Krishna as the enjoyer. So Deva Varnashram is a long process, and in some respects it is automatically happening in ISKCON. Devotees are being engaged according to their skills, and devotees are realizing we have householder devotees, so many thousands who are householders, who have families, but they believe Krishna is the enjoyer and they act in that mood. If we want to be the enjoyer and balk at the result, then you will have to bear the full karma. Karma is not light. Karma is heavy. You're earning 1 penny, you have to undergo so much karma. So Krishna gives us an avenue for purification. Yes. A little louder.
Yeah. Maharaj, suppose there are two situations in the life of devotee. One is that temple demands services and
Somebody control the kids, yeah. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
A little louder.
Temple is short of hands and temple needs the devotees. So we have to serve the temple. And again, we want to develop a separate preaching program and grow them and connect them to the temple in future. That is the second system. So what should be the devotees' priority?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Maharaj, suppose in the life of the devotee there is a duality. The first situation is like the temple is short of devotees, so temple needs devotees. But we are alone how much we can help to the temple. But instead of that, we can reach and get more devotees and then connect them simultaneously to the temple. So what should be the priority?
Well, the temple is there, the temple needs help, we should try and help the temple first. The temple's already there, the deities are there. There's no need to expand the program, but let us take care of what we have properly. And in the temple is done nicely, that will attract devotees also. That will also attract devotees. More questions? Yes.
In the world, and especially as a
Could you be a little, speak a little louder?
Sure.
We should have a cordless mic.
Sure. In this world, living in this world, especially as a grihastha, there seems to be always a need to balance between trying to bring the family along into spiritual life versus trying to advance ourselves. Is it okay to be a little selfish and try to just pursue our own, or should we try to bring children and...
Good question. So that challenges. One challenge for a householder is, I have to earn my bread. I also need one spiritually. So I will really draw the line. So my advice usually is, make an effort. Naturally, a householder has to endeavor to earn his livelihood. But don't work so hard that there is no time for spiritual life. Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto says, my dear friend, do not over-endeavor. You will only get as much happiness as is destined in your quota, and not a drop more. He doesn't say not a gallon more. He says not a drop more. So sometimes we think, I am going to work very hard, then after I become clear, what enough money, then I'll take the Krishna consciousness. So Prahlad Maharaj says, don't follow that path. Do both now. Because ultimately, you only get what's your quota and nothing more. Now your second question is, how much endeavor should you put for your own life versus your children? Depends what age the children are at. So sometimes when the children are sufficiently grown up and they're not favorable, then there's nothing much you can do. You can honestly try to make them Krishna conscious, but there's a limit to what you can do. Of course, children are more friendly and favorable when they're young, but then as they get older, sometimes they get bewildered, sometimes they don't. So try, but don't try so much that your own spiritual life goes down. Okay? Yeah. This is like a Ishtagoshti. You know what's an Ishtagoshti? Question answer. I wanted to do an Ishtagoshti, so I just read those two verses to trigger a discussion. Yes.
Maharaj, you just pointed out that you should make a balance, that you should not, like Prahlad Maharaj says in the 7th canto, you should not over-endeavor. Whatever is in your quota, you should receive.
He says you won't get a drop more.
So Guru Maharaj, the question here is, we are, a lot of the congregational members are financially stable. But the question comes when you want to give service or you want to get attached to the temple, there is the minute independence, because you know, when you're at your own home, you're your own boss. When you come into a temple, you have a temple authority. You have rules and conditions to follow. And now all of a sudden you find yourself coming to a temple where you can offer service or this, but at the same time you have to follow temple authority. So the challenge is always following temple authorities, because now your independence is taken away. So on that point, what will you give us as advice?
Actually,
Because everyone listens to Guru, but no one listens to temple authority.
first of all, the temple authority should also be ideal. Ideal example. Secondly, we come to the temple to do service. To do service, we approach the authorities. But let's say the authority doesn't engage you properly. We should understand one thing. Nobody in life is exempt from karma. Whether it's a guru, sannyasi, president, DVC, brahmachari. If I do not act properly in engaging somebody, I will take on the karma for that. Nobody is karma free. So it places a responsibility upon temple authorities also to behave properly. It's not that anyone has a blank check. And if you have to, in any organization, you need a system of management. So in management, obviously, somebody is the president, someone is the GBC. And if they're acting properly and giving you the right instruction, then we should follow it. We should not think, oh, I have to follow someone. You all have to follow someone. Any more questions?
Lots of questions that I wasn't shy to
Well, that's for them to decide. Whether they're shy or not shy. Yes.
It's in today's world, I think so the word balance is extremely overrated.
What?
Rated. I mean,
Overrated.
we all the time say balance our life, balance our life. So I mean, what should be a spiritual balance?
Okay, good question. Balance of life, what does it mean to a householder? First of all, find time to do your japa. Now that I work so hard, sorry, no time to do japa. You must find time to do japa. You may adjust the time, but you must find time. Find time to also read a bit. And at the same time, make the effort to earn your livelihood. We don't say, go work hard at your office. Krishna doesn't say, don't make an effort. Krishna says, with your mind and intelligence dedicated to me, Arjuna, act. In fact, Bhagavad Gita, from beginning to end, preaches action. But for Krishna's pleasure. When you help the movement in spreading Krishna consciousness, you're serving Krishna. Like in economics you read, any organization needs 4 things. What are the 4 things? Land, labor, capital, and organization. Organization. You probably read that when you were studying economics in college. So Prabhupada talks about this in Bhagavad Gita. So you also need these facilities for spreading Krishna's mission. There's like the Christians have this philosophy. They give 10% of their income to the church. The Muslims have this philosophy. It's a good philosophy. The Boras, have you heard of the Boras? I work in Africa also, in East Africa. The Boras give minimum 10% to 25% of their income to their guru, who is a playboy. But they do it for spreading inaction of wrong things, not correct things. Krishna doesn't say, don't act. Where does he say that?
First verse 6.1
Work in the spirit of detachment. Work as you. Who is the true sannyasi, Prabhupada says in Gita? Not one who does no work. Not one who doesn't light a matchbox. But one who acts for the pleasure of the Lord. You can be a householder, but you're dedicating your life to the Lord. You're offering the results of your work to Krishna. And you don't take on any karma. And that's a true sannyasi. Sannyasi is not just wearing a dress. Sannyasi is working in a spirit of surrender and detachment. That is sannyas. So that detachment we have to develop. That will come from chanting. Okay, what do you want to do? Questions, and then we're going to stop. Yes.
Thank you very much. Can you please explain how to increase determination?
Yes, he asked me this question 2 days ago, and I said ask in the class. So the answer will benefit everyone. So how to increase determination? Rupa Goswami says determination is one of the key factors for spiritual advancement. And how do you increase your determination? By chanting and practicing devotional service. They say in English, practice makes a man perfect, isn't it? So as you chant, read, associate, serve, your determination will also get stronger. If I don't chant, I don't read, and I expect my determination to get stronger, that's illusion. You must make an effort. Just like they say, practice makes a man perfect. The more you practice devotional service, the more determined you become. Okay, last question. I have to fly tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
If someone is striving for the path of spiritual life and he renounces and does a lot of austerities, but due to misfortune he takes to the wrong path, like let's say he becomes a monk but he's still eating meat or doesn't believe in God, but he gave up everything to search for God, then does that person also get spiritual? That person, what is the result?
Repeat.
So like, let's say someone is in Tibet or something and he gives up his family, he gives up everything in search for God, but he becomes a Buddhist monk and he doesn't believe in God. So such a person...
He becomes a Buddhist monk and he doesn't believe in God. So that's a very unique monk. He's not a monk.
or if he's, let's say, a monk and he eats meat, but he gave up everything in life to God. So how does Krishna...
Well, they don't make much progress. Like I also work in Burma. So in Burma you see on the road, in Burma, every corner there's a temple. Every corner. You walk 10 yards, you'll see 10 monks. In every bus, in everything. But unfortunately, now they're Buddhists, they are misrepresenting Buddha. They all eat meat. They all... So unfortunately, they're not following the real path. They may get some benefit for their austerity, but they're not going to feel the love of God. If you want to be a true Buddhist, then follow Buddha's teachings purely. Okay? Any more questions? Apropos, somebody hasn't asked questions so far. Any? No more questions? Okay, last one.
Maharaj, I have seen in traveling with you that you encourage your disciples, especially in America, to work like in Washington, Atlanta, many temples in the sense of giving service as congregational members, doing different things for the temple. You have encouraged us to do that.
I do that everywhere in the world, not just Washington.
So, I'm just giving an example, but I've seen that. I just want to ask you, if your disciples are financially stable, there's a point at which you say, I think I'm making enough that I can support the family. What will be your guidance to such disciples?
Of course, there is something known as, most people say, oh, there's never enough. Now, he said, hungry man can be satisfied when you give him food to eat. Thirsty man can be satisfied when you give him water to drink. Angry man is satisfied when he shouts, but a greedy man is never satisfied. So, even amongst devotees we have different categories. Some are more renounced. They say, Krishna is giving me this, and we offer it back to Krishna. Some are greedy. They want more and more. They don't realize the more they keep, the more karma they'll have to bear. So it varies. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Of chanting. I found it to be very, very instructive, and I think we should all take it very seriously. And I gave this example recently, just like if President Obama or Narendra Modi were to come into your home, what type of attention would you give that person? We all know the answer correctly. So when we're saying Hare Krishna and the Lord is personally there and we're inattentive, it really makes no sense at all. So we should think in a very practical way. Being attentive means just like taking care of your children, taking care of your business, taking care of great important people. The holy name is the most important thing in our life and we should give full attention. But I did want to share one point. Who was talking about authorities, and I've had the great fortune of being around Maharaj for many years, and the first time I heard him speak was in Mayapur, and I've always been attached to being wherever he is speaking. It's always wonderful. But the example that stays with me from the time it happened was in Vrindavan, and we arrived in Vrindavan at a Fogal ashram, and the place was a wreck, and Maharaj was the authority. So he got down himself, practically on his hands and knees, and cleaned the rooms to make sure we were taken care of nicely. That's an authority. By setting the example, Krishna says, whatever a great man does, come and then follow. So we understand who is the authority, who is the leader, by that leader himself setting the standard. So I thank Maharaj very much for always setting that standard for us. And one last thing is that I hope last night someone recorded Maharaj's explanation of the history of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. And if you did record that, please transcribe it and make it available for devotees. It was the most wonderful presentation on the history of this movement I've ever heard. So thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Bhagavad is always very kind.
You can see on YouTube.
The Guru or Sadhu through two avenues, Vapo and Vani. Vapo refers to personal association. Vani refers to instructions. And Prabhupada said, Vani is more important than Vapo. Vapo is temporary, whether the Guru or any Sadhu. One may live for 30, 40, 50, 70, 80 years. One day everybody has to go. But the Vani will stay on. That's why we are following Krishna's Vani, Rama's Vani. So we should get attached to the Vani more than Vapu. That means follow the instructions. And I explained the other day, Prabhupada said there are 3 categories of disciples. The best disciple is he understands the mood of the Guru and he does what the Guru wants him to do without saying. Second best is Guru says, do this. The disciple says, yes, I'll do it. And the third class disciple is, doesn't matter what the Guru says, I'm going to do one thing and what I want. So if we decide whether we want to be first, second, third class. But then bear in mind, Krishna also gives a recording result. Krishna says, all of them, as they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. Krishna doesn't say, anyone who surrenders gets the same benefit. No. You want to be a third class disciple, you will get third class protection. You want to be a second class disciple, you get second class protection. You want to be a first class disciple, you get first class protection. So our protection is also based on how much we want to surrender. But bear in mind the Vani. So get attached to the Vani, and if you get attached to the Vani, spiritual life is guaranteed.
So thank you very much, Guru Maharaj, and we will try to follow these instructions very closely, and we look forward to your visit again next year.
Yes, please bear in mind that whatever instruction that we get is 100% based on what Prabhupada gave us. There's nothing new. It's not that we're creating a new set of rules. We're just like a postman delivering the message as it is. So, and like a parrot, anything you teach the parrot, it repeats. So we are like parrots, repeating what Prabhupada taught us. So you follow that, success is guaranteed. Okay.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. We will all here try and follow your instructions just as you said.